Hello there and welcome to the Flamengo versus Liverpool preview for the Club World Cup final. A massive game for all Liverpool fans and the Liverpool team just alike. And I'm really excited for this game. I'm looking forward to this game, and even more so after actually reading up on Flamengo themselves. Now, I wanted to read up on Flamengo in particular, just obviously because it is a final, but also it's a team that I've heard of but have never seen play. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes down, because as it has been written, and the information that I got it from was this is Anfield.com or .co.uk, whichever one it is, and they've wrote a pretty good analysis of what they play like and who their key players will be. Now, this game has happened before, but in 1981, and this is a little bit of, history that came into the article, and it was quite interesting. Now, 1981, we got beat 3-0 by Flamengo, and this was a team that we had that had Alan Hansen, Graham Souness, Kenny Dalglish in it, like a very, very strong Liverpool team in history, and it just didn't have an answer for that team back then. Now, this Flamengo team, from what I'm looking at here, and I've just got up their starting 11 that they had up against Al Hilal the other day to get them through into the final. And there are a couple of names that I recognise, and maybe a couple of you guys will as well. Diego Alves is the goalkeeper. Rafinha, who I think, is that the guy that played at either Barcelona or Bayern? Is that the same person? I don't actually know, but I've heard the name before, definitely. And Felipe Luis as left back, who at one time or another he came to Chelsea and then he went to Atletico Madrid. I don't know if he came from Atletico, went to Chelsea, didn't work out, and he just went back to Atletico, but that is where he's playing now. And apparently the key player to look out for in this game is a guy called Bruno Henrique. Now, in the last game that he played against Al Hilal, he got 2 assists and a goal, and apparently is very, very good at getting on the ball and moving it forward quite clearly. Now, the playing style of Flamengo, when it was described by thisisanfield.com, literally was like looking at our play style, in the fact that they like to press high, they like to win the ball back as quickly as possible, suffocate the opponent, and then they also like to play a defensive high line. Whether they change that or not coming into this game against Liverpool, I don't know. If they stick to their principles and how they play, like if this is how they play all the time, it could be difficult for them to even think of trying to change it just for one game, because they would probably struggle. Because if it's not a defensive play style, isn't their style, then they would struggle and maybe concede goals anyway. But by the sounds of it, we're going to be coming up against a team that plays similar to us. So that's going to make it interesting, because it could be a really attacking game, end to end, goals galore. You never know what can happen. And especially you never know what can happen because we've still not really had any updates on Virgil van Dijk. Before, I think after the game that we played on Wednesday, it did come out that Virgil van Dijk hadn't trained in 3 days and hadn't been able to shake off illness. I haven't seen anything since that says Virgil's okay or Virgil's going to play. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen in this game, whether he's going to be available. Are we going to be having to field Jordan Henderson at centre-back again? Because against a team like this, that seems to want to play very fast attacking football, high pressure, intensity, that they would literally look at Henderson as the target, which is exactly what the team we played against on Wednesday didn't do. For some reason, they didn't really seem to target Jordan Henderson a great deal, even though they would have known, surely, he's not a centre-back. Target that man. They just didn't. They seem to be more interested in cracking shots off from about 30-40 yards. I don't know why, because it's not like we've got Henderson in goal, still have Alisson. So, yeah. Anyway, how do I think that this game could go down? Again, it's going to come down to a couple of factors, how we line up. Now, in the lineup that we had against, let me just go back to the game we played against Monterrey. Now, the lineup we had, obviously it was a weird one because of Henderson in centre-back. We have Naby Keita, Adam Lallana, Oxlade-Chamberlain in the midfield. I expect that midfield to change. And the forward line was Mo Salah, Origi and Shaqiri. I expect that front line to change as well. Basically, what I think, if we're going on, I'm going on the side of caution and that Virgil van Dijk's not going to be available. I'm going with the fact that we will essentially go back to our first team 11 without Van Dijk. Now, you could set up in a couple of different ways. We've got a couple of the younger lads have flown out. Jan Hover, Van den Berg has flown out as well. Kelleher, the goalkeeper, and Harvey Elliott has flown out as well. So there could be some changes and there could actually be some defensive cover. Most likely at centre-back, some people might expect me to say Van den Berg. I would probably actually be more inclined to say it would be Jan Hover. I think he's got more experience and I think he's shown himself in the first team better than Van den Berg has shown even at the youth level. Like, he's still got a lot of development to go. He's a very young lad, but Hover, or Hoover, whichever way you say his name, seems to have a bit more experience, a bit more about him as a young defender. He could come in and he can play centre-back, he can play right-back as well. So that could be an option, and it then means that we can put Henderson back into midfield. If Gini Wijnaldum is fit for this game, Gini Wijnaldum goes back into the midfield, and then Naby Keita in that midfield for me as well. It's harsh on Oxlade-Chamberlain because Oxlade-Chamberlain gives you a lot of energy, but I can't get away from the fact that Naby Keita seems to have hit a bit of a purple patch right now, and I think that he would deserve to start, especially like the beautiful movement he made for the first goal that we scored against Monterrey the other day. Unreal. And he's got 3 goals in his last 3 games. So he's right now, he's literally pretty much as in his prime for us as we've seen him. So I'd love to see that happen. Obviously, if Virgil van Dijk is past fit, Virgil van Dijk goes into the defence. No questions asked. Obviously, the man is an absolute man mountain. You'd need him in there. The rest of it goes back to type, which would be Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously Andy Robertson, Alisson in goal, Joe Gomez alongside whoever is whether it's going to be Virgil van Dijk or whoever's going to be there. I think we'll have a defender in there, especially with the younger lads coming through. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Midfield for me, hopefully it'll be Henderson, Wijnaldum, Naby Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain, whichever one. And then into the front line, for me it would have to be Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah. Needs to be. Absolutely needs to be, because I think obviously when you saw Trent come on, you saw Firmino come on, you saw Mane come on, the team changed and we started to fashion more chances and start to look a bit more threatening the other day. We start with a team like that against a team that is going to want to come and attack us. Whether we play 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 ourselves, who knows? But we have got to go out there, in my opinion, as Jurgen Klopp says, not just to come out here and show face. We want to win the thing. We want to win it, call ourselves world champions, and that is exactly what we should be setting out to do. And to do that, I think we need to go as strong as we can, obviously barring any injuries or illnesses, whatever. That is exactly what we should be doing. Now, how is this game going to go down? Well, it sounds like we're going to come up against a team that is going to come out of the blocks very, very quickly. They're going to come out at us. I think they've been champions of their league by quite some way or something. Apparently their goal difference was something like 20 goals more than their nearest competitor in second. So they're going to come out the blocks very, very quickly. They're going to want to test our goalkeeper. They're going to want to test our defence if it doesn't have Virgil van Dijk in it. But even if it does, they're going to want to test themselves against the best in the world. So they're going to want to come out and just play football. They're going to want to do everything that they normally do and try and stay defensively solid. They did concede first against Al Hilal the other day, but then they came back and won 3-1. So I think it's going to be quite a big goals game. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Liverpool victory. I think it's going to be really tight. I think you're going to see two teams attack each other with high intensity. Hopefully they're not very rash with their tackles and can not, lay one on our players. Apparently one of their players' temperaments, apparently they call him Gabigol or something like that. It can be tested and he can see red, a bit like a Diego Costa, I imagine. If you wind him up, then he's either going to go and score goals or he'll sulk, which is one of the key quotes that was said in the article I read. So, look, I'm going for a 3-2 Liverpool victory and we lift the World Club Cup trophy. Couldn't get my words out then, but yeah, I think that we will go on and win it. I believe we can go on and win it, and that we've not just gone out there just as like a financial, you know, bringing in money from somewhere else. I truly believe that Jurgen Klopp has gone out there to truly bring that trophy home, and a trophy that barely anybody can compete for. You know, you got to win the, for us in Europe, I think anyway, you got to win the Champions League. So there's barely anybody can compete for that trophy. So anyone that says that we disrespected the Carabao Cup, this trophy, the Club World Cup, does not come around like every year. Not everybody gets to compete for it. It's a select few teams that get to compete for it, and I'm proud that we're actually in the final. Let's go all the way. Let's get it over the line. Let's do the business and bring it home. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I've literally just seen a tweet pop up on my phone that says Virgil van Dijk did join back in training. So that should mean a positive. Fingers crossed that he can feature tomorrow in the final. Now, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below with that late news that I've literally just read then. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you are new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.